to celebrate New York becoming nation's first age-friendly state. This is a major accomplishment. In the entire nation, we're number one. We're always number one in New York. Aging is a place where you're most comfortable, and when you age in place in somewhere where you feel comfortable, it takes away a lot of the challenges. And that's why Governor Cuomo's leadership has made New York an age-friendly state. The governor is ensuring that New Yorkers who have lived here, who have worked here, who have raised families here, can all stay here comfortably. And we've all traveled around the state, and we've seen areas where it's tough, and sometimes it's hard, particularly in snow. Down here, it's not that much snow. You go upstate, there's a lot of snow up there, and it's hard to get around. And if you want to stay in your house, you need to address that. 87% of the adults age 65 and up say that they want to grow old in their own homes. My parents are over 65, and they want to stay in their own home, and I understand why. It's the most comfortable. But many of these adults are at risk for isolation. They may suffer from depression. An overwhelming majority of them have at least one chronic health condition, whether it's diabetes or hypertension or heart disease. Sometimes they have more than one condition. So we tell this community to visit their doctor for routine checkups. But often their doctors are far away, or it's bad weather and you're asking them to go out to make an appointment. It's sometimes difficult to get there. Sometimes it has to ask their relatives to take them. We tell this community to remain socially engaged. However, unfortunately, they're losing friends and family, and sometimes those who are very dear to them pass away or they move elsewhere. But through our Health Across All Policies initiatives, state agencies are working together to address their concerns and to truly make New York an age-friendly state. And we're creating outdoor spaces and buildings so people can meet and can gather together. We're bringing innovation to transportation projects to ensure that drivers and bicyclists and walkers can all share the road safely. Sometimes I realize that you could run around the city here and you see people rushing, and you see someone who is elderly and they're just trying to get across the street. And on a day like today where the sidewalks may not be salt on it, it could be pretty slippery. And if you're 70, 80 years old and you're walking, the last thing you want to do is fall and slip and hurt yourself and end up with a fractured hip or so. We're encouraging civic participation and employment to ensure people can be part of their community and put their skills and their knowledge and their experience to good use. And near and dear to my heart, we're providing access to quality health care through the New York State of Health, the nation's leading health insurance marketplace, that everyone can get the care they need and that they can afford. And this is really one of the most important things that we do, and we've had an incredible success with our marketplace. And last but not least, we're embracing and supporting programs like the ones here at Senior Planet Exploration Center that support technology for seniors. Technology plays a huge role in aging. The market is exploding with products that enable people to age at home. This is one of the things that are very important. Seniors that can detect when older people fall. Sensors, I should say, that can detect when seniors fall. Remote monitoring devices that let caregivers know when loved ones aren't eating enough or drinking enough just by knowing whether they've opened or closed the refrigerator. Robots delivering medications, meals, and linens to patients that could be put to work around the house. The possibilities are endless. I will tell you it's really important. What you're doing about using technology as a story, I will tell you that several years ago when my nephew was in high school, one day he was having a disagreement with one of his friends about some piece of information. He says, "My grandma knows the answer to that. Let me just go text her." And his other friend said, "Your grandma texts?" He goes, "Yeah, she texts and she FaceTimes." He said, "Cool, I can't believe your grandma texts." And so that was my nephew, a teacher, and says, "You gotta stay cool, grandma. You gotta know how to text, you gotta know how to FaceTime." So using technology is great. The possibilities are truly endless. There's a good chance that the next great idea for aging adults will come right here from New York. And let me tell you a little bit of what we're doing under Governor Cuomo's leadership. We're launching a Hero X project. Hero X will use crowdsourcing to create a network of innovators across New York's colleges and universities. And students and faculty are invited to submit technological prototype designs which will help older individuals perform daily activities around the house, like bathing or dressing. There is an idea out there. There's a creative thing out there, and someone who's, whether in high school or college or university, is going to come up with, it's going to change the way that we operate. So up to 5 finalists will be chosen. 1 grand prize will be awarded based on affordability, on portability, on ease of use, on the level of innovation. And the Department of Health has also made telemedicine a priority as well. Telemedicine is making it easier for seniors to access health care remotely from their homes. sparing the exhausting trip to the doctor's office. Because often what happens, particularly again in upstate New York, where you may have to go many miles to a doctor, you have to ask someone to help you. So someone may take off time from work. Unfortunately, we do have our paid family leave issues. But someone leaves and they have to pick up their relative, take them to the doctor, and then come back. So maybe there's a way to use technology to address some of these things by not having to run to the doctor, by using the technology that we have to look at a rash or to look at different things that may help the person go out, save them the potential of getting hurt in inclement weather, save them the risk of getting an infection if they go to an emergency room or something and there's the chance of infection. So we're moving this forward. And the department is exploring ways to update policies and regulations around telemedicine. And we want to expand reimbursement opportunities for providers who do deliver care remotely. So let's continue the momentum. Let's move forward to develop and implement programs, to implement services and supports that will keep all New Yorkers safe, happy, and healthy in our community. And we owe it to all those who can benefit from our help. This is the generation that helped so much, that helped raise all of us and helped move things forward. We really owe it to them. And I want to mention this, something that came about yesterday, because New York was ranked yesterday the 10th healthiest state in the nation. Now, we were 18 5 years ago. Yeah, this is around the question. So 5 years ago, we were 18. And in 1990, we were 40. We moved faster in the last 5 years from 18 to 10 than any other state in the nation, moving up that quickly. We are going to be number one. New York is always number one. So I will get us to number one so that we as a state make sure that we are as healthy as we can be. And this is the first step. What we're doing here today with making sure that there's an age-friendly state and that everyone has an opportunity to get what they need and the care they can do, particularly the seniors, is one of the steps that we're going to move forward. So I'd like to introduce Gene Setzman, the Senior Vice President for AARP, and thank you very much for having me here today. Thank you.